And we go out this one night, and it's like, oh, man, cool. We do a bang bang for the first time, and Creepy throws up immediately. And I'm like, oh, man, like, is this going to be bad? He's like, no, I got this. And the one thing that I've heard later on is, like, when you do opiates and you throw up the first time, then everything gets live for real.
Oh, yeah.
Not to mention that we'd put fish scales in with that. Like, oops. Mm-hmm. And then we go to an after hours. We go to the overpass. We go to the overpass, and Jet, the band, is there. And we know, like, all the people that own it and run it and stuff like that. So now we're partying with Jet, and the people from Jet are like, oh, y'all don't really know how to party. And remember, we've all done a bang bang.
And when an Australian says you don't know how to party, things are about to get turned up.
Yeah, and, like, I'm super excited because, like, everybody always doubts my level of fun. Mm-hmm. Because I always look like I'm on the way to Sunday school. Mm-hmm. Like, and so I was like, okay, well, now this is happening. And I was like, okay. So we had made, like, a bag of Bang Bang for the after hours. I was like, here you go. And just did, like, a knife hit with him. And the one guy did it, and he's like, like, you know, has to catch his breath, and he's like, I'm good for now. And then the lead singer's like, oh, yeah, no. He's like, oh, calls him derogatory terms and whatnot. He's like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, give me the biggest one you can. And I was like, okay, well, I have this, apartment perimeter key that stores, like, I mean, this is, like, literally not good. And I was like, okay, here. And he tries to run it all in once. And, like, immediately projectile vomits.
Oh, man.
Inside the club?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Inside the club, like, inside the club, because you could openly do it there. And he just does it on a jukebox. And, like,
everybody's a critic.
Yeah. And, like, he just does that. And he's like, whoa, what was in that? I go, I told you what was happening. Like, you should follow your man. Like, it's finna be wild for about an hour. And then the other guy was like, ugh. He's like, I'll have a nibble. He still didn't turn it down. And I was like, okay. And so, like, Gabe took care of him, and like, Smiley and I were still taking care of everything, and, like, having fun and doing all that, like, going around bullshitting. And I had to stay with Creepy GB and make sure he's okay. And then, meanwhile, the band Jet just, like, cancels on their set.
Oh, no.
And, like, they're supposed to play, like, all their instruments are all set up and everything. And, like I said, Creepy plays guitar. And so I'm like, just go and start playing some of their songs and see what happens. And he did, and we got asked to leave.
Oh, sure.
Like, we got asked to leave, but then 2 weeks later, like...
It wasn't the drugs or the projectile vomiting, it was the cover of a Jet song that got you kicked out.
Oh, my God.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, we gotta go. It's time to go, because we've been there with two other people, and it was an invite-only situation.
I see.
So I was like, oh, man, okay. And then two weeks later, I went back with another friend and kind of, like, hung out and did the same thing, and then shots got fired. And I was like, ugh. Okay.
As a result of what you had going on, or just in the vicinity?
You don't have to incriminate yourself.
A little from column A.
No. Yeah, no. I'm not suggesting, that.
But no, like, it was just one of those moments where it was like, how does this negatively affect everyone but me? And then I woke up and I realized, oh, it's just a bad thing.
It's time to go.
Yeah, and I used it as, like, because it helped me not drink and not do so much cocaine. But then at the end of the day, I was like, okay, all right, so we got to use this to be better. And it really did help, and I wish that I was as mature as I am now to handle that and handle, like, how it helped with the effects and everything else. But they gone. they were so fun that they don't make those anymore.
Mm-hmm. The FDA finally caught on.
They did. They for once, they got smart on helping people not feel good.
Well, if everyone's dropping dead, they can't spend money.
The business model has worked for the tobacco industry for this long. I think there's a little bit of consumer death built into the business model.
I guess so. They allow for it.
That's why they call him the doctor.
Bennigan's actually does the same thing at TGI Fridays.
Yep.
You're just going to expect a certain amount of customer death.
So then, what could you give us? We have a few minutes left. So, is there a craziest story or two of just where you're like, oh my god, I can't believe I survived that, or oh man, that was embarrassing.
Other than the last 15 years or so.
Yeah.
You're so kind to me.
Oh, God.
And yes, the thing that I was most addicted to that I got out of, thankfully, was drinking and driving. That's the thing that all the others, ha 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 ha, wild story. But I was really, really into drinking and driving, and that's not okay because remember, you're in a missile, and I got caught with it. I went for so long unhindered, but then I got caught with it. And you have to understand that I do this cool party trick called manic depression. It's where I'm the life of the party for 8 hours, and then I spend the next 4 trying to kill myself. And so I got pulled over, and I got pulled over leaving the Virgil for a birthday party where everybody's asking about my former fiance because old Buck loves the heartbreak. God forbid. And the officer was incredibly nice and incredibly great, especially considering this is when all the Dorner stuff was going on. And there's no reason for them to be that nice other than I am the white boy looks like tomorrow he's going to Sunday school. And so I got out, and he yelled at me from inside the car, "Get back in your fucking car," because he was not out of his yet. It's oh, I was just trying to save you time. And
I brought my own handcuffs.
Yeah, yes. Okay. So he comes up to the car, and he's like, "Get out of the car," and I was like, "Well, I was way ahead of you, man." I was like, "One of us is new." And I get out, and I take the field sobriety test, and if I could have taken field sobriety tests to get into college, I definitely would not have gone to a safety school.
Ivy League.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so, I was sitting there, and I nailed them. Oh, I nailed them. I could do, 1 foot, touching nose, all that stuff, and it comes down to me having to count backwards. And I do that, and he's like, "Oh, well, you're, at least 6 seconds off." And I said, "Well, sir, you don't understand. I'm Southern. We count
the fact that I can count at all is
exactly, yeah. Exactly." But I said, "We count 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi." And believe it or not, cops at DUI stops, not the best sense of humor. No. And you would think I would have known that from Starkville, Mississippi. But, and then it came down to the point of pleading, and it's hey, I'm sorry. Because I had been doing that for a while, and it needed to happen.
Counting?
No. And no. Not counting at all. At all. I think if I had been counting, probably
might have avoided that situation.
Maybe. But at the same time, I'm trying to plead with him because I have hot Wendy's in the car, and we all know how valuable hot Wendy's is.
Yes.
I had fries. There's this, and everything was good, and he's cuffing me, and I'm still trying to plead with him, and then the depression sets in. And he cups the other hand, and all I can think about is think about how much better everybody's life will be without you.
So you did eat the Wendy's?
Yes. Oh, yes. And if I didn't, then I did when I came back. But the cop let me park, and I parallel parked to show him that I wasn't as drunk.
Hilarious.
Past all the tools and tricks. But then all I can think about now is the depression sets in. It's oh, think about how much better everyone's life will be without you. Think about how disappointing it will be, like all this stuff. And so with the Dorner stuff, I fall back on him, and I was like, oh, if I go for his gun, he'll pull on me, and then it won't be a suicide, and I'll get to be buried in the family plot next to Mama. Because that's what she wants. And I go back and reach for it, and I grab the butt of the gun, but since I am a good-looking white male, he pushes on my back and pushes me forward. So then now the gun is out of the holster in my handcuffed hands, and I go a couple steps away, and like I look back at him, and I'm like, well, I don't know what to do because I don't hurt anybody. I don't want to hurt him. Like, all I want to do is kill me. And I've never really had an opportunity with a gun. So, like, now I'm just spinning circles, like literally Homer Simpson. Like, I just can't get the right, because I can't get him around my back. And Officer Velasquez looks at me when I make a full circle, and I look at him, and, like, neither one of us know what to do. And so I just drop the gun because I failed again at another suicide attempt. And being the trained improviser that I am, UCB grad, IO grad, I know from A to C. And so I see Wilshire Boulevard is right here. And I go, oh, I can just run into traffic. You know, if the cop's not going to do the job, a car will. And I run, and I, like, take a step off, like, right in front of my car, and he hits me with the taser.
Oh.
Yep.
And, like, I still have the scars, and, like, it shakes you, but, like, you don't realize how bad it hurts you until after you clap bone on cement.
Oh.
And, like,
Ouch.
It's a yard sale. Everything must go. Like, you shit and piss, and you throw up if there's anything left. And, like, all those 6 old fashions I'd had from the Virgil in the past, like, 2 hours, they were gone. Everything gone. Everything gone. I lost all that money.
Wow. Must have smelled great.
Oh yeah. I was put in isolation for my first 24. I definitely got the lice hose. But I mean, you know, who could pass a shower, especially for a Mississippian? But that was the thing. And then he put me back in the car afterwards to take me back, and he's like, "What's wrong with you, man? Like, is everything okay?" Like, he really was like,
"Is everything okay?"
Yeah, he was like, "Do you really feel this way? Like, is that what's happening?" And I go, "Man, one of us works for the LAPD and didn't shoot. Okay, who did their job wrong at this point?" And then they took me to the mental institution, and I got lost in the LA County system. So I was like, from then on out, no. I was like, I'm good. Car stays at the house. I'll walk.
So you don't drive at all?
No.
Wow. How do you wind up in a mental institution off of a DUI stop? I don't get.
Well, when you say that,
Several suicide attempts.
Oh, that. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. Wow, that's wild.
And that's where we found you. And that's why you're here right now.
It all comes together.
Yeah.
and thank you all again for getting
That
me
was
out.
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took up a collection. And
Bail, the gang's all here.
So we're just about out of time. Do you? Where can people find you normally? I mean, well, wait, okay, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, yeah, I was about to
Publicly
say.
at a show. Where can
Just,
people
I was going to say,
The Moth or-
ask the bathrobe lady in MacArthur Park.
right?
She should be able to hook you up.
Yeah.
Where's old Buck these days? And I'm going to check my phone.
And that woman in MacArthur Park in the bathrobe turned out to be Lindsay Lohan. And now you know
probably.
the rest of the story.
It's Hollywood, baby.
So you're at the Moth every time or often? Or?
Yeah, I'm usually at the Moth. Excuse me. Sorry, I'm laughing. Buckball.org. BUCKBALL. It's 8 letters, 2 syllables, and barely one mind.
Wow. All right. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming out and
Thanks, Buck.
sharing some of your highly unusual life. And, folks, until next time, I'm Carl Kozlowski.
I'm Kevin Corcoran.
And Dr. David Robinson.
And you've been Oh Man, That's Awful. Thank you.